how do I keep from blaming God? You know, because I remember when you just mentioned about Job. How do I keep my heart from blaming God in this most dreadful situation that I'm enduring?
Well, I'll say that in a couple of ways. In the midst of my early grief, I felt all I had was sad talk for God. As if all I got is sad talk for God, he don't want to hear it. Right? But God has seen and heard it all. And I had to kind of come out of my shell with that. Like, I need to lament before God and let him know how I'm hurting and let him know that I wish it wasn't this way, and why, what could have been different, and why her, and why all this. I had to release that to God. But on the second part of that, and as you mentioned, Job, you can be upset with people you have relationship with. And so when we think we got to have kid gloves on around God, we're minimizing God to our level. God done heard people be mad at him before. You know, and you've been mad at your spouse before. You've been mad at your kids before, and it didn't break. We know what will break a relationship.
Right.
And being upset at somebody doesn't break a relationship. That's something you're going through. And I went through that with God, not necessarily anger. It wasn't anger. It was more, I felt, you know how you feel like, why me? And then God will say, why not you? Kind of thing. Yeah. And I remember vividly, man, it was as clear as you and I are talking right now. We had made arrangements for my granddaughter's funeral, and we were driving back. I think we were driving towards East Texas, either to take my mom home or we were going back toward the hotel. And as clear as day, God asked me, if I asked you, when would be the best time to have Alana back with me, what would you say? And in my mind, I was saying, I don't know, God. I don't. Then he said, well, when she was 50, when she was 100, how about after you died? And I'm like thinking, yeah, God, that'd be best because I wouldn't be going through this. And God said, if I asked you when would be the best time to have Alana back with me, you would say no time, wouldn't you? I said, yes, God, I would. And he said, that's why I didn't ask you. And when I tell that to some people, they think, wow, God went off on you like that. But then I had to see the wisdom of God and who he is. And Alana is very special to me, but all people are special to God. And he's no respecter of persons at that level by title or whatever else. And we're in a fallen world and things happen. Yeah. Could God had done whatever he done and pushed the door closed here or there or made the seatbelt not unbuckled? Yeah, he could have did all that. But we're in a fallen world and people make mistakes and things happen.
Yeah.
And it soothed me at a level. It didn't stop me from missing her. It didn't stop the ache. But it soothed me through that moment that I had a relationship with God where he could talk to me like that and knew I would understand him. And basically opened the door for me to even lament before him, you know, and be angry at other people, but not break those relationships either.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm okay with people lamenting and being angry at God. You get angry with people you are in relationship with. It happens because those that are closest to us are those that get the shrapnel first when something blows up. Yeah. And if you close to God, he gonna catch some.
Yeah.
And, you know,
and so like you said, he's prepared for it. It's like it doesn't diminish him being God because you're right. Not able to process your current situation. Yeah. You know, and I think what you said, it was a beautiful illustration or a beautiful moment you had with God. Well, when if it was up to you, when would you say I could bring her? You would never say I could bring her, you know, and I can't consult you on certain situations, because if I show you my whole plan for your life, you will dispute 80% of it because it doesn't fall in line with what you think should happen. Yeah. But you say you trust me. And if you trust me and you know I have nothing but the greatest plans for you, according to Jeremiah, the plans for your future, for you to prosper. Right. Trust that, and like you said, the hardest part is probably for all of us to stop saying, like you said, trust God. God's got a plan. This was in his plan. His plans are bigger than our plans. Those are not the things that people want to hear in that moment. Now, we'll grow eventually to a point where we can hear those things. And it's so beautiful that you said Job, you studied Job, because even when Job's friends came, they just sat with him. And I can't remember off the top of my head, was it 3 days that they just sat and no one spoke?
Yeah, it was a good period of time, close to a week. They sat with, but then they got tired of sitting. And started blaming.
Speculating, yeah.
And so,
look, Job, you had to have done something. I mean, God just don't do stuff like this. Yeah. It's like, you know, and it's kind of, just to go back to what you were saying about how God says, I couldn't consult you on this. And I think it was when God was talking to Moses, and Moses had the excuse of, you know, I can't even speak well. Why would you send me? And God said, who made your mouth? I made your mouth. And if I tell you to go do something, or if I put this in motion or allowed it to happen, I've got the end in mind as well. You know, the end is already sealed. So trust me, as my dad preached a sermon one time, he called it managing the middle. All you got to, you know the beginning, you know the end if you're in the Lord. All you got to do is manage the middle.